Hello and welcome back to Angie B Crafts. Thank you so much for joining me on my YouTube channel. So today is the 8th of June and it is World Ocean Day. So in order to recognise that this is a really important day in the calendar across the world, and also in honour of the fact that I'm about to move to live right next to the ocean, I thought I would do a little bit of an ocean themed page. Now this is just a mini Pink Pig journal. It's one of my new ones. I don't think there's anything at all in this one, so I've just opened it on any page. I never start a journal at the front. And when I've picked up some bits and bats that are kind of the right colour and some circles, because I just think circles look nice in the sea, and then from there we'll see where we end up. So to start off with, I actually just want to put some water down onto my page, just to give it a bit of a watery look. It's a good point to start. It's just wetting the page, that's all I'm doing. Okay, then I am going to get some of this, which is Artist Pigment Paint by Cosmic Shimmer, and the colour is Cobalt Teal Hue even. And I'm going to pop this. I have my little mat here, good old faithful. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of this. Oh, I didn't give it a shake. Give it a bit of a shake first. These paints tend to settle out a little bit, so it's definitely worth giving them a bit of a shake. And then I'm just going to start putting on some of this paint. So you can see it's immediately reacting with the water, so you're getting a nice watery look. So I'm covering the whole page in that one colour. So that's my base colour. Now I want to add some other colours. I've picked up my Peacock from Dina Wakley Media. This is a colour that I absolutely love, and I also love the fine nib that you get on these paints. So let's pop a bit of that out. I'm not going to put as much as that on, and I'm going to use a smaller brush. So I've just picked a smaller brush out of my pot. You will hear I am, as ever, working directly from my pot, because I rarely remember to actually take brushes out of my pot. So all I'm doing now is just adding more colour in various places. And because there's quite a lot of liquid on this, I'm going to actually open the page out fully. Because there's quite a lot of liquid on this, it means that you get that movement with the colours. So we do have one more paint that I've pulled out, which is the Calypso Teal, and this is a shimmer paint from Dilutions. So this one does have a little bit of shimmer going on. Oh, that's way too much. And I'm going to again go for a smaller brush for this one, because we just want a little bit of shimmer going across the water in various places. We don't want a lot, we don't want to dictate its position, so I've used a really wet brush, we've got a really wet surface, we're just adding hints of shimmer, and there we have the start of our background. Now what I'm going to do is, while that is drying, I'm just going to turn the book 180 degrees, and I'm just going to put all my extra paint onto a dry page. So this is the shimmer, so potentially we're ending up with 2 pages here. So don't ever waste your paint if you can avoid it. I try so hard not to waste paint because I just love it, and it seems criminal to just mop it up. So the ocean has so much plastic in it, you can actually have plastic bergs. They are just big areas of plastic, and that is because of what we use. We as humans, other creatures don't use plastic. We created plastic as humans and we use it, and we need to take responsibility for that, and we need to figure ways of minimising that. I know where I currently live, there's an issue around the fact that because of the cost of getting rid of plastic, of hard plastic, our local authority is currently not recycling hard plastic. They still collect it, so you feel like you're recycling because your rubbish is being collected, but when I went to the tip, they actually said they weren't recycling it because it's too expensive. The guys at the tip are really nice and will talk to you, and they told us that it's because it's too expensive to recycle at the minute, so they have to find somewhere else to send it that's cheaper. And I just think that's maybe not the right attitude. Personally, don't think it's the best attitude. Right, so we've used up our excess here, and I've still got quite a lot of water on here, so I'm just going to get my raggy and I'm going to start dabbing bits off. I've actually got some other colours on here which are now transferring. I quite like the way it's looking, so I'm going to carry on. So we've got some green on here from a previous project, and that's just coming on really nicely onto here. I don't know what the green is, but I'm quite liking how it's looking. So we're now getting lots and lots of movement, but the page is nearly dry. It will need to be just blasted briefly, and then we'll come back and see what we're going to add in. So here we have the dry pages. I've dried both of them, but I'm only going to focus on this one, and I've pulled out this All and Create stencil. You can see it's very well loved, and I thought I could start adding some circles, and I think circles are quite relevant in the sea because it is the movement of the animals through the sea, and the breathing, they're actually producing circles, bubbles. The fish produce bubbles, the various different creatures, but also the movement of the plants. So I just think bubbles are a really nice thing to have in anything to do with the sea. Now, to do this, I am just adding on a few different size bubbles, and I'm doing it with a jelly roll pen, and then I'm going to come away and I'm just going to see if we can get a little bit of movement of the pen. They are water reactive, but not as reactive. So you can see the ones that I put on last are more reactive. I think maybe that's not going to be the best option to do it, so we'll do it a different way. Let's do it with some distress oxides, or distress inks, sorry, not distress oxides. Right, Mermaid Lagoon, perfect for under the sea. And I think we need something a bit greeny. Oh, salvage patina, yes, that works. And a little sponge. So let's do it with the Mermaid Lagoon this time. I'm going to do some slightly larger ones and just see how they look. I'm not putting an awful lot of pressure on. So they're more of a, there's something there, but what is it, rather than a defined bubble. Some of them are going to be a bit more defined, some of them less so. Now, there's quite a few people, companies, who sell products that relate to the sea, that are creative products. One of them is JMC Designs. You'll know that I've previously been involved with JMC Designs as part of their DT, but Julia has lots of different sea related products. So there's the Mesmerising Mermaids, which are a lovely set of mermaids. There's also, so they're digital stamps. There's also some physical stamps which are also related to the sea. It's worth having a look at what Julia's got. She is offering a discount at the minute because of the day that is in it, as in World Ocean Day. So have a look at the JMC website, jmcdesigns.co.uk. Also giving offers is Be Crafty and Pretty Gets Gritty. So quite a few people are actually providing special offers on the products that they sell, so it's worth having a look at those websites. I've put a link in on my page to one of Julia's videos, and on that there are all the links to the various blogs and websites and YouTube videos that the team from Crafting Together with All Brands are doing what they're all up to in relation to this special day. So it's worth having a quick look over there and see what you can find. There might be things of interest, might be motivation for you. So I'm just adding little bits of water to the colour now, just to soften some edges and to provide a little bit more bubbliness. So what am I going to put on here to make it more oceany? So I've pulled out a few stamps that I think I can get away with hinting towards the ocean. So this is a set of stamps by All and Create, and I just think there's something oceanic about this, and also possibly about these. They're almost like anemones, I can never say that right. And I also thought these were a bit bubbly, so we might use those as bubbles, or possibly some of the other ones. So that's my thought process there. And then I came across this stencil, which is still brand new in package. That is how long it is since I last looked at this, because I've never even taken it out. And this just had hints of seaweed. So I was wondering if we put some paste through here, would that give us, oh, I know what we could use, a little bit of Crackle Gel. Yay! Crackle Gel is fabulous stuff. This is Pretty Gets Pretty Crackle Gel. It's pre-coloured, it's one step, I love it. It is so easy to use, and I just think it's brilliant. So I highly recommend this stuff. You can let it dry naturally. To be honest, I do sometimes, but the vast majority of the time, because I love bubbles, is I actually dry it with a gun, a heat gun, not an ordinary gun, obviously, before you think I'm some sort of gangster. I'm not. Like anyone would think that about me. Oh dear. The world I live in. The little fantasy world where anyone would consider that I was a gangster. It just doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Right, so because we've got the edge of the book, it's obviously quite difficult to get right up to the edge, but it's fine because it's not going to look neat. I think we're beginning to get what looks a bit like a sea scene. So I'm going to give these a blast just to dry them off, so we can then carry on with the next stage, which is going to be doing some stamping. So this is now all dry, and what I've noticed is that I've got, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I've got some really cool bubbly bits actually where it's dried. So we know it bubbles when we heat set this stuff, but there's just some tiny little ones that almost look like algae, which I'm a bit impressed with. Right, I'm going to use this. I'm going to keep it, no, it's going to be too awkward I think if I keep it on there. Let's peel it off. Oh. So this is another All and Create stamp, but what I love about these is that they have the extra bits, so you can start to just pick up little bits. So I know that I just want the bubbles, so we can have them there. I've decided to stamp these because they're forming part of the background. I'm just going to stamp them in the Mermaid Lagoon rather than in black. Let's start getting some little bubbles. Oh yes, I'm liking how they look. Stick a couple down in here and some coming up there, a little bit at the side. Yeah, I'm liking that. So you don't have to use your whole stamp, and don't ever feel that you do. You just use the bits that are pertinent to what you're actually doing. So for the florals, that I don't know if they are florals or not, but we're not really using them as florals. For these, I do want a stamp block, which there it is. Right, so here's my stamp block. It's now got some Crackle Gel on it. Oops. Right, there's my stamp block, and I'm going to use VersaFine Clair ink, and I'm going to have these. I don't know whether to have the whole thing on. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we can put the whole thing on. It looks sea-esque. So we'll just pop them on like so. Oh yeah, I love how they look. In fact, I love it so much, I'm going to do a second generation stamp up here. Oh, I like the way that's come out paler there. I do like second generation stamping. I love that image, brilliant. But I do want to see, I don't know if I'll be able to fit it on, but we can give it a go. I want to see if we can get, oh actually, oh wow, look at this, I haven't noticed that one before. This looks like it's swishing about in the sea. So I think if we put this here, I think that'll be a bit cool. I'm going to pop it right over to that corner so we can position it as far over as possible. So I've put it as close to that edge as I can without it actually overhanging, and then we can stamp it here. Now, because potentially these are going to be see-through or have fronds that move, I am not worrying about the fact that they're going to overlap, because if I was worried about it, I'd then have to start thinking about doing some masking, which isn't my favourite pastime, because it is very time consuming to cut pieces out. Dawn Ditchburn from Shiny Silver Treasure is amazing at cutting things out, and I do keep threatening that I'm going to send stuff to her. I think Julia from JMC Designs is very good at volunteering her services actually, so I might just have to threaten. So we're going to have this one right in front of the shadowy one, so it is going to remove a lot of it, but you're still going to see it behind, which works for me. You can still see that at the back. You just look there. I quite like that. Now what I want to do now is actually add some more in, but without this bit, so I need a little piece of paper, so we'll use this, add some more ink. So you can do this one of two ways. One way is to actually remove the ink once you put it on, or cover it up before you put the ink on, but another way is just doing this, which is cover up the end and then you only get the bits you want. So we're building up layers of this. Oh, how good does that look? I love it. I think that's really beginning to look like the sea. Now there is something that is going to have to go on here. It is essential, I think, to a sea thing, and that is splatters. So I've got my white splatter pen, which is basically my Posca, but I also have this blue, which I think is going to look quite nice. And I'm wondering, I think I might colour these in. I'm going to colour these in with this, I think. So these are, as I said, the jelly roll pens, but they're the metallics, and I quite like them. I think the metallic look is just, it adds something. So I don't know if you can actually see the shimmer of them. There you go, there's a little hint of shimmer just where I've done the lines. Right, time to splatter. So if you've not done splattering, you need some form of pen. You want to get it really flowing quite well, and then you want to just hit it. You can, if you want bigger splats, flick the pen itself, where you'll get a run of ink, but I don't want them that big, so I'm just going to do it with the hitting method. I'd recommend always give you see, you can see there I've now got a nice blob of paint there, so this is going to do nice splatters now. Always give them a good shake before you use them. So you can see there some lovely blue splatters, just what we wanted. Right, one thing left to do is edge, and then we'll be done. So to edge this, as I do with all of my pieces, is just going to be putting a line around it, but it's maybe going to be a little bit wavier than usual, so it's intentionally wavy rather than just a freehand pour straight line as I would normally do. I'm intentionally putting a waviness to it because it's under the ocean. Now, I did see a really nice sentiment on one of these stamp sets. Hold it on this one. Bold and beautiful, that's the one. So I'm going to do that on the back of this piece of card, and then we can just, in fact I'll do it on here, and then we can cut it out. So there's the sentiment. We shall stamp it onto here. So this is one of the advantages of keeping all your little scraps. Doesn't matter if you've used them for other things, there was enough there for me to get a sentiment on it quite easily, and then it just needs to be cut out. The way in which you cut out is going to be dependent on the type of cutting you like to do. I'm doing a slightly wiggly line on this one, again purely because it is under the sea, it's an ocean theme, so let's make it look a little bit wavy. So there we have that. It needs a little bit of edging, so I'm going to edge it with the salvage patina and my little egg. I put the ink at the top, didn't I? Yes, it's there. Yeah, we'll do the salvage patina on the bottom then. It's probably going to cover most of it rather than just edging it, but hey ho, that's fine. Yeah, I'm just going to cover it all. Now ideally you'd let your ink dry a little bit more than I have done, so we're getting a little bit of blur in, but that's fine. And I've still got some of the other colour, so I'm just going to dab that over the top just to get the mix of the two colours. And then I want a little bit of black. I usually have some black floating around. Yes, there's a little bit of black. So that is going to stick onto there with a little touch of blue. Just doing a line of glue along there. Pop it on. And then we'll cut that out. So I'm going to follow roughly the same lines here. Doesn't have to be accurate on this, it's wavy, we're not overly worried about it, we just want it to frame that sentiment, and then we can pop this onto her. Like so. Sorry, that was just some of my papers deciding to fall. So there we have the finished page. So that was a quick and easy page, just in celebration of World Ocean Day. So please do your research about the ocean and the impact that humanity is having on it, and see what we can do to actually help maintain the ocean, so that we're helping maintain the diversity of creatures and plants that exist on the planet. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.